Hello and welcome to Remericast. I'm Kevin Quinlan, and we are here at our offices in downtown Plymouth at 930 West Ann Arbor Trail. And I am very happy to be joined today by Stephanie Porter. And Stephanie is the owner of a really cool local business called Tidy Smart. And Stephanie, welcome. Thanks for coming this morning.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak more about our services and get to know you better as well, and get to be engaged with the community.
Awesome. The way I found out about you. I was thinking about this when I was driving in today. I was at one of the local senior communities maybe 6 months back, and I saw your card on their area where they're putting cards out. And I'm like, Tidy Smart Organizing Solutions. I was like, that sounds interesting because I had just been talking with a family in our neighborhood who the daughter lived with the parents and they were getting a little older and they had a lot of stuff in their house and they didn't know exactly what to do. Like, how do we begin to even figure out what to get rid of here, figure out what to do? And then I saw your card and I'm like, I don't know if you remember, but that's when I reached out to
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool that I got to meet Stephanie that way. Before we get into how did you come to start this type of business?
So I had a career previously in the building materials distribution business and ended up running a distribution facility in Livonia.
Ah.
So I ended up basically kind of running my own business in a way, even though as part of a corporation. They gave me full P&L control. They allowed me to build my sales territory.
Hmm.
I did operations, logistics, running the business. And then I had my second child who's about to turn 16 and felt that it was the right thing for our family for me to become a stay-at-home mom. So I made a big career change and going from a corporate job to stay-at-home mom. And about a year and a half into being at home with my lovely children, I realized I needed something else to do that helped me have my own identity. And I was always working on a project around my house of organizing. When you have small kids, you have a lot of stuff. They're changing ages, they're growing, they're doing things where you have to constantly keep things in order. And so as I started to get things in order at my own house, realized if I was going to do something else outside the home, I wanted to do something for myself. And I wanted to have a schedule that I could control. So just started to reach out to some friends. And if you ever need help with organizing, I can help you out.
Right.
And it just started to grow from there. So I have been established in business for 14 years now. And really, the business started to take off probably about 7 or 8 years ago
Okay.
when my kids started to get in school more full time. I had more availability to work, but also people just started to hear about more what I was doing. And about 8 years ago, I had a friend of mine that came to me who was moving from Northville to San Francisco. She had 3 boys between the ages of about 8 and 12. Her husband had gotten transferred to San Francisco to start a new job, and he had already moved out there to start his job. And they had a 4,000 square foot home to go through and purge and pack, and they were downsizing by half, and they were paying for the move across the country themselves. And she came to me and she said, "I'm completely overwhelmed. I don't know where to start." I said, "Okay, well, let's see what we can do." So we started to go through her house. We were purging cabinet by cabinet, drawer by drawer, room by room, narrowing down really what was most important for them to move and take. And when I went through that process, it opened my eyes to the world of real estate and how much help people need when they go through this. So I started to reach out to friends who are realtors and just said, "Hey, if you need any help with people who are getting ready to sell their homes, they
Right.
need to declutter and they need to organize things, please keep me in mind." So fast forward to where we are today. I now have 8 employees on staff, who are I call them my angels. They just kind of have dropped in my lap. And they're very wonderful, very wonderful. We're a female owned company, obviously, and also a female team, not by choice, just by what has been dropped in my lap,
Gotcha.
like I
Gotcha.
mentioned.
Yep.
And we have developed basically 2 sides of our business. So we still do home organizing every day,
Okay.
which is what my passion started off as.
Right.
We are now partner with the Container Store in Novi,
Right.
which those of you who may not know what the Container Store is, it's like the Home Depot of organizing products. So shoppers who go in there and they're completely overwhelmed and they don't know how they want to buy the products and they want to get their homes organized. They don't know have the energy or the desire to do it on their own. We are the contractor that the Container Store recommends. So we're
Great.
very proud of our corporate partnership with them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the other part of so we do home organizing, people who aren't moving, they're just staying in place, just need to thin out and get things more in order.
Gotcha.
And then the other side of our business is what we call home transitions. And that's how you and I connected.
That's right.
So we
That's right.
do everything, all age demographics, but I would say the majority of our clients in that home transition category are our seniors, especially our baby boomer population that is
Right.
now transitioning through life, whether they're moving from a large family home into a smaller condo or they're moving into senior living. Today, we have a move at a senior living community where we had moved them from home 2 years ago into independent living at a senior community,
Hmm.
and life has changed for them, and now moving into memory care. And so we are doing that move even inside
No
the
kidding.
building.
Right inside the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
Because they, in that situation, Stephanie, they need to downsize a little bit
Again,
more.
yes. So they've gone from an independent living. They have a kitchen and there are
Right.
different things that they have access to. When you go to memory care, life changes a lot.
Right.
So we help to get things purged out through donation processes in that case. And then we are physically packing up things, moving them, and then unpacking and getting them all set up in their apartment this afternoon.
Wow. See, to me, and that's one of the things I think what a great resource you guys are. It's figure as far as donating, figuring out things that maybe will be donated somewhere, and you'll actually handle that part of it, correct? Like
Mm-hmm.
you would take it there for them, or if they
Mm-hmm.
want to,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a big part of this. People have stuff and they don't want to necessarily throw it out, but they want to donate it somewhere, but they don't know where to donate it or how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you do
All the
a
time.
lot of that.
We call it item dispersal. What do I
Okay.
do with my stuff?
Okay.
And that is honestly sometimes the biggest hang up that people have about moving, that they don't know what to do with the stuff that they don't want. And so they rather just sit in place.
Right.
And we can end up coming up with a plan, whether it's through an estate sale that we recommend. We don't do estate sales, but we recommend companies that do. If they don't have enough for estate sales, then we recommend an auction process where they can still sell items and make proceeds from the sale of the items. We work with local charities
Okay.
to do donation drop off or pickup,
Okay.
and they will put items right back into families in need. And then last case scenario is a discard process that we have to go through. So,
Gotcha.
you
Right.
know, we always try to help recycle things back in the community as much as we can, but it is inevitable that
There's
there's
gonna
just
be some
things that
stuff
just
you have to
be
throw out.
tossed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's inevitable. Probably half of my basement right now about needs to be tossed.
Right.
And eventually, hopefully I'll either get it done or you'll have to do it for me. But we'll but we'll figure that out.
Yes.
But and I have to think that's you must have to be kind of it's a very personal thing for them to let go of things that they've had forever, right? You have to be somewhat firm
Mhm.
because they have to do it, but at the same time you have to be gentle enough
Mhm.
that they're not upset about it, right?
Exactly.
So you're
Yes.
kind of a psychologist in a way.
We don't have
Right.
mental health backgrounds,
Right,
but we
right.
could write a really nice book on how we have had some interesting psychology on working with clients in their homes, because you're right, it is a very personal experience that we go through. I get the call every day, "I'm very overwhelmed." That's usually the first thing they say, "I'm very overwhelmed. I don't know where to start." And I say, "Well, the hardest thing you've done is call me, because that's the first
Right.
step." And so
Right.
when you called and asked for help, okay, we can now make the plan. We can execute the plan best fit for our client, because every single situation we run into is different. Every client has a different reason they're moving. They have a different reason they're selling their home. And so we come up with a specific plan that best fits them and their needs,
Gotcha.
and then be very gentle about the process as well. So I had a situation this week helping a client pack up for a move. She had been in her home for 50 years and decided it was right for her to move into senior living now.
Okay.
And she likes clothing, likes a lot of clothing. And we were narrowing down her socks. Like, we get really, we have to get nitty gritty.
Right.
And she probably had about 100 pairs of socks she wanted to take. And I just said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Pick 3 colors, like 3 main, because she had 3 main color categories she liked socks of. 10 pairs per category.
Very good.
I said,
Give
this
her
is
a
what I have to do. I'm not doing my job if I don't push you
Yeah,
to
right.
really narrow down the things that you're going to truly use.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And she probably actually appreciated
She did. She
that.
kinda laughed and she goes, I know I need to do this." But she knew she didn't have the discipline on her own to do this for herself. And so, there was a lot of also, "I'm really proud of you." I was giving her encouragement.
Yeah.
So, it's hard. It's a hard process to go through. You and I both discussed earlier, we both have been through moves in
Yeah.
the last several years
Yeah.
ourselves, and me personally doing one over the last 6 weeks, I did my own personal move, even though I do this professionally. It's hard.
It
It's
is.
very hard, and it's okay to ask for help. And you can end up having professionals help you in different phases of this home transition process to really make it as easy as possible.
I highly would recommend having done our move about 3 years ago from Pennsylvania. I mentioned just I hope I never have to move again. I mean, we get lucky enough. But yeah, having gone through that, next time I would approach it way differently.
Mhm,
You learn how, as you do that, but to
mhm,
get help is huge because it just takes a lot of stress. Because there's enough stress already trying
mhm,
to figure out where you're going to go and
mhm.
all that stuff.
Right.
So we hang on to so much stuff.
Well, we're Americans.
Right.
And we are very blessed to live in the country that we do and have the things and access to a lot of things that we do. And we have space in our homes. Usually a lot of people, in this
Right.
area, we have nice spacious areas where
Yep.
other countries they do not. They have much smaller quarters and they really become more minimalist. And so it's that mental decision making part that saying I'm ready to make this change. I'm ready to make my life more efficient, whether it is changing from a larger home to a smaller home, you're staying in your home and you just realize I have too much clutter and I want to thin things out and I want to get things in order. So it's a big decision to
It
have to go through and to
it is.
make mentally as well as physically doing this.
Right. Is there one area that you find that people need the most help? Like when you go into a house, is it typically where's your basement? Where's your storage area? We're going to start there.
The basement usually is a dumping ground if you have a storage space. So
Right.
yesterday I met with a family that they have a 6 and 7-year-old and they're moving into a new home. And she felt like they have a lot of stuff. Now I've seen everything and I didn't feel she was that cluttered.
Gotcha.
But what I helped her do was come up with a game plan on how to go through the clutter, and what I recommended was start in the storage room. Purge the storage room first, get rid of the stuff you don't want down there because then you'll have space down the storage room for the things that you are going to keep, but you don't necessarily need to use on a regular basis right now. Those can be put in the storage room.
Gotcha.
And then same thing with the garage. Purge the garage.
Right.
And in the home sale situation, don't be afraid to use your garage as a storage unit. I hear so many times, yesterday the same thing. They said, we're gonna get a pod or I'm gonna move things to a storage unit. I said, well, let's go look at your garage first because usually the garage is not being photographed and it's okay. People know stuff in a garage is going to leave.
Right.
And so I try to help my clients come up with the best plan that we can to utilize the space that they already own and
Right.
the free storage that they're already paying for
Ah,
there on site versus having to ship stuff off site to store.
yeah.
So
Great
that's what we
idea.
look as far as like, yes, the storage room and the basement areas are usually the hot button areas and to get those things sent out. And then the kitchen is usually the next one. And so people have had things for years and years up in the upper cabinets. They don't even know it's there.
They don't even know. Yep. I know
And
that's how.
purging
Yep.
those things and
Yep.
pulling those things out and getting rid of them so that you only move what you're going to use.
Most people hate organizing. You always have things in your house that you need that you could organize.
Mhm.
You push it off. But it's funny, my sister, she loves to organize
Mm.
things. So it just the way that certain people's brains, whereas most people are like, get me away from that.
Mhm.
You enjoy it. Is there something that you get the most satisfaction out of when you work with a client?
Well, I always say that we all have our own talents and our
Right.
own skills and that we have things we're good at and we have things that we just don't care much about.
Right.
And so I would say I'll give you two different sides. When home organizing, seeing the before and after. And
Okay.
seeing when you walk into a closet, it's in disarray, or a pantry that's in disarray, especially with a busy family. We had a family, we helped 3 kids under the age of 4
Mm.
and helped them to reorganize their kitchen and their pantry. And just to see the relief on mom's face when she walked in the pantry and she could find all the kids' snacks a lot easier and things in the drawers easier, to know that we're making life more efficient and more functional on that side of it. On the home transition part, being able to help someone through a major, major life change, like I mentioned, the client yesterday that we just moved after being in their home for 50 years. I was there with the movers. I walked in and she's sitting on her new couch and she has the biggest smile on her face. And
Huh.
I said, "That's a good thing. That is a good thing." I
Yeah.
mean, but there's been tears
Yeah.
before, because
Sure.
sometimes people are forced to move and they don't want to. But
Yeah.
the most satisfying thing for myself, and I think my team would say this as well, is just the gratitude that our clients say and give to us for the help that we've given them to make this as easy as we can for them.
I mean, that has to be very gratifying because it is a hard thing, and to get them over that hump is like in your experience, is there always a place for people out there? You know what I mean? Even if you don't have a lot of money saved for retirement and can't afford one of those spots, are there places?
Yes,
Yeah.
so there are actually there are people called senior placement advisors. And senior placement advisors are specialized in senior living. So they work for a company or they might own their own business and they are the gurus of senior living. So I have several in the area that I recommend
Okay.
when clients say I'm looking for senior living, I don't know where to go. I don't even know where to start. And what they do is they do an in-home assessment with the client. They talk about financial situations, like you just mentioned,
Right.
social situations, mental, and geographical are usually the top 5 things that they're looking at. And then they will narrow down communities for them to go with the
Gotcha.
person that's moving, and they will go on tours of the communities with them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they're kind of like a realtor for
Yeah.
senior living,
Yeah.
basically, and the thing is there's no cost for the client for their services.
Oh, is that right?
They get a referral fee from the communities once the client has decided to move into that community, and so it's basically a no-brainer for people as they're looking for a senior living, to use someone that's an expert and specialist in that field.
I remember that from the thing you guys did at Janitti's
Mhm,
several months back that
mhm.
I attended, which I thought was awesome.
Thank you.
And you had yourself a state sale.
Senior placement advisor was there that day
E
as well. Mhm.
exactly.
Yes.
And I remember speaking with her for a little bit, and that the light bulb went off to me like, "Oh, that's a great thing." So, and so I can use that in my business for potential
Yeah.
clients, obviously, because a lot of them, and I get it. My mom and dad are in this situation where they need to move out of their places. They're getting to the point where they're still independent, but they're going to need assisted living.
Mhm.
And for them, it's somewhat daunting. They like their place. They like their independence.
Mhm.
Who doesn't? Plus, and I'm sure you've seen this, we saw this with my own grandmother. When we finally got her out of her house into a community, it really picked her up.
Absolutely. We see it so much.
Do you see that a
Oh,
lot?
we see it where because now sometimes they've been a situation, they've become a widow, they're at home by themselves, they may not be eating as well as they should be,
Right.
and then when they move into a community, now they have socialization. They have people looking out for them, they have meals made for them, and I have seen clients do a 180
Right.
as they moved into senior living.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think the thing is to try to do it early enough so that you can benefit from that because
Definitely.
like my grandmother, she waited a little too long. She passed away a couple years after getting to the community. And I feel like if we had gotten her there 2 or 3 years earlier, she might even still be alive
Mhm.
just because it really like did a lot for her
Mhm.
when she finally, again,
Yeah, it's hard. You never know. There's never a right age or right time. It's whatever is right for the client. So there's no guideline of you should move at this point. Next week, we're moving a 99.5-year-old
wow,
into senior living,
no
and
kidding.
she's moving in independent as well.
Wow.
Yes.
She's at 99 and she's
Yes.
moving into independent.
Independent. Yes. She's our
Wow.
second one. We had another one last year that was 99.
That's amazing.
So you never know. But one of the things I've had couples tell me as they've decided to make this decision to move into senior living, they've said, "We want to do this together. We want to make this move together."
Right.
Versus something happens to one of us. Now they have to go through the whole process of selling the house and moving, and now they're by themselves doing this. At least we're moving together
Yeah.
and we're having that next phase of life doing it,
Doing it.
yeah. Mhm.
And um anything else about what you do, Stephanie, that we haven't touched on that you'd like to let people know about or
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's also we're a member of what's called the National Association of Senior Move Managers.
Okay.
So we are, that's one of our designations is called a move manager. So basically it's the home transition specialist that we are. And there's move managers like us all across the country. So we collaborate with other small businesses like us in other states as our clients are moving to and from out of Detroit. So we actually are working with a move manager in Hellerton, Pennsylvania. I mentioned you're
Okay.
from Pennsylvania,
Yep. Yep.
that they
Yep.
have a client moving to Ann Arbor area. They're going to pack, coordinate the move, and then the client will move to Ann Arbor, and then we're going to unpack and organize her once she gets here.
Oh,
So I mentioned that because as listeners may have family members in other states or they're thinking about moving out of state, how do I even coordinate this? How do I do this? So there's again this it's called National Association of Senior Move Managers, and there's companies all across the country and even into Canada that are doing this now to help make the transition as easy as possible.
how about that? Well, that's great to know because yeah, I mean, a lot of people have family that are not here in Michigan.
Mhm.
They could be anywhere, or
Mhm.
they might need to go there.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Well, here's I'll just hold it up. So this is, if you can see, this is Tidy Smart. Yeah, that's obviously there's Stephanie over there. You've seen her. Best way to get in touch. So the website, Stephanie, is
www.tidysmart.com, TIDY
right.
smart.com.
Yep.
And you can go on and just request a consultation, and we'll contact you to see what your needs are and the best route of what we'll do for our initial appointment with you. And like I said, every situation we run into is different. And that's why we meet and we customize each situation for our client. And then you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram under Tidy Smart Organizing and see our before and after pictures of our projects that we're doing.
Right. Yeah. Website's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very well organized and the information is there. And so you could do that. You can obviously call Stephanie if you prefer to use the old fashioned phone system.
Mhm.
What's your
773505.
that's awesome. And I know I look forward to working with you more, Stephanie, because I think it's awesome for us here at Remerica. Obviously, folks out there, we're coming into the season where more people are thinking about moving. The weather's going to start turning. And so typically the real estate market picks up a little bit
Mhm.
as we get into springtime. So not only do we encourage you guys to stop in and see us here at Remerica, obviously now we can also help you make that move a lot easier by putting you in touch with Stephanie and Tidy Smart. And boom, now we have a nice little process for people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Yes.
So, well, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
It's been
Kevin.
great talking about it. Well, we'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you.
You're
Thanks for listening.